Hello. I have a secret to tell you.
Won't be a secret anymore.
It won't be a secret anymore. I know, right, Jim? Here's my secret. In my entire life, these 50 some odd years, I have been to church on Easter 7 times. 7 times I've been to church on Easter, and 5 of this is the 7th. 5 of them have been since the pandemic.
New trend.
Right? A new trend. Why is that, you might ask? Well, because every Easter I was here on the coast doing an Easter egg hunt in 4 acres of forest with all of my aunts and my cousins and my family, and everybody was around, and it was a big, huge event culminated by the Easter hunt and hanging around for a few more hours while the moms and the aunts all cleaned up the cabin and packed everything back in the cars, and we got on the road and went back home to the Bay Area. And when I came to church my first time, because people would say to me, "You coming to church on Sunday? On next Sunday, it's Easter." And I'd say, no, I'm going to go be with family. And they'd say, "Well, but don't you come to church on Easter?" I'm like, "Why do you go to church on Easter? We're a religious science church." And people would look at me like I was nuts. And the first time I sat there, I remember standing there a little nervous. Like, what's going to happen? I didn't know what was going to happen in a religious science church on Easter Sunday. It didn't hurt me. I decided it was okay. And then the pandemic started, right? And I was doing all the online stuff for my center at the time, so I had to be there. So when it came on my Sunday that it was Easter, I was like, yay, what do I talk about? What do we talk about? There's this whole Christian story, but that's not my story. That's not the story of the Jews who are celebrating Passover. It's not the story of the Muslims that are celebrating Ramadan. It's not the story of many, many cultures. It's the story of one group of people. But we could talk about the resurrection. We could talk about the resurrection and what that means. What that means, resurrecting life, resurrecting something in our lives, bringing forth something. I had it on my phone over there. Actually, will you grab my phone out of my purse? It was really good. I looked it up online.
Here's the purse.
Yeah.
Here's the phone. It only weighs 100 pounds.
It only weighs 100 pounds. It says, I looked it up because what does resurrection mean? It's a spiritual resurrection refers to a revival or renewal of the spirit, a reawakening of spiritual consciousness, and a restoration of a person's relationship with God or a higher power. Now, I can stand behind that. It goes on to say that it's often associated with experiencing faith, finding new meaning in life, and feeling renewed spiritually. Spiritual resurrection signifies a moving beyond a state of spiritual stagnation or decline. It's a process of becoming alive again in a spiritual sense. Yeah. It can involve a shift in perspective, a deeper understanding of spiritual truths, and a heightened awareness of one's connection to something greater. It's a spiritual resurrection is a personal experience, a transformation that occurs within the individual rather than being solely an external event. I can stand behind that. Last week I talked about how small mindful actions can cultivate a long-lasting personal growth. We could do the same with the spiritual growth. Just that 1% shift today will make a huge shift down the line. So we're going to talk about how we can embrace the journey of a true renewal and flourish. We can simply do this by habit stacking, and James Clear talks about this in his book, Atomic Habits. Habit stacking, does anybody know what this is? Yeah, Jim's nodding his head. Habit stacking is a formula. It is, after I do this, I will do this. For example, say you want to add some meditation to your life. After I pour my cup of coffee each morning, I will then meditate for 1 minute. If you don't have a meditation practice, that's a great way to do it. Pour my cup of coffee and meditate for 1 minute. That doesn't mean that you have to go find a chair and sit in lotus position and go, no. My favorite way to do it is to look out my window into the trees and take a breath. Say you want to work out, you want to start to exercise. After I take off my work shoes or whatever, my gardening shoes or whatever it is, I will change into my workout clothes. I used to do that. I would get home from work, take off my work clothes, and put on my workout clothes. Oftentimes, I would then go to the couch and turn on the TV. But at least I started, right? Right? How about this? If your relationship is struggling, when I go to bed every night, I will kiss my partner. That's habit stacking. Here's another one. After I put on my running or my hiking shoes, I will text someone to let them know where I will be. Right? Often we need to make sure that we let people know where we are. So when we associate new habits with established ones, we can gradually start shifting that trajectory into the place where we want to be. Anybody ever follow Fly Lady? Anybody ever try that? Yeah, Fly Lady was a really big movement, I don't know, 10, 20 years ago. And Fly Lady would teach you how to get through your daily chores. And the one thing that she said, the two things, was get dressed all the way to your shoes, lace up your shoes. I don't wear shoes in my house, so that was a problem. But I could get dressed and I could put on my in-the-house shoes. That meant I was ready to go. Get up, get dressed, put on your shoes. And then the last thing at night you were to do, what was that?
I only remember you had to do the dishes.
Shine your sink.
Shine your sink.
Shine your sink. That meant do your dishes, put everything away, and shine your I can't even say that. Shine your sink. Shine your sink. That way, when you got up in the morning, you had a beautiful sink and your kitchen was gorgeously ready for you. It's hard habits to do, right? When I'm cooking in my kitchen, when I cook, which is rarely, when I cook, I'm doing my dishes along the way. Right? I'm wiping down the counters while things are going. And before I put my dinner on the table, I've wiped everything down and started soaking any pans that need to be soaked. And then I sit down to eat. My husband's different. My husband cooks and then he wants to sit down as it's piping hot. He appreciates food piping hot. I'm okay with it being warm. It doesn't have to be piping hot, which can then sometimes create an issue. It was something we talked about last night because I was working on something and I said, I know you love to serve me food piping hot and I will be there in just a second. I just have to send this thing to the printer. And we were talking about it. Yeah, he likes his food piping hot. Well, I worked in tech for 30 years. As an assistant to high-level executives, believe me, if I was lucky if I got my food, let alone be able to eat it while it was still warm, right? So I'm okay with it, but it's not acceptable for him. So we have different ways that we do things, and it's okay. It's okay. So when I'm up here by myself, I'm making my food, I'm cleaning things up, and then I sit down to eat. And if it's cold, too cold for my liking, I heat it up. So it's about habit stacking, doing things one at a time. So there's your first thought for the week. What is it that I can add to my day? Is it an extra meditation in the morning while I let my coffee cool enough that I can drink it? Is it standing out when I open my door to step outside, to just step there and just take a breath? And then moving on to your day. You may turn it off, it's okay.
I didn't want you to know it was me.
I knew it was you. That's Brigida's phone ringing. Same thing goes with Earth Day. You know, Earth Day is this week. Earth Day is an amazing day. It is, hold on, let me get to the story of Earth Day here. Earth Day is a global event. It was influenced in the 60s by Rachel Carson's 1962 book, Silent Spring. And in this book, she exposed the dangers of pesticides and pollution. And what she did was she ignited public concern and laid the groundwork for the modern environmental movement. She was a powerful woman. It arose from, this Earth Day arose from several environmental disasters, notably the 1969 Santa Barbara oil spill. That oil spill caused extensive ecological damage and highlighted the urgent need for environmental regulation. This is what she did, the first inaugural Earth Day in 1970. It saw an unprecedented turnout. 20 million Americans participated in rallies. The grassroots event brought together people from diverse backgrounds and political affiliations, and it united their concern for the environment. 20 million people showing up created the success of the creation of the rented lips, Environmental Protection Agency, or the EPA, later on that year. People decided that we needed to do something to save our Earth. It continues to be a vital part of the global environmental movement. It raises awareness and inspires people to step into action by pressing environmental issues such as climate change and deforestation and pollution. Earth Day reminds us the power of collective action in safeguarding our planet for future generations. You know, just last week, I had a friend telling me about hiking along the skunk train. I'd taken the skunk train out and was walking it back and saw a beautiful grandmother tree. You know, those old growth redwoods that we don't see very often. Have you seen one of those lately? Have you walked around one of those lately? Have you tried to hug one of those lately? Right? It is so powerful to stand there at one of those big grandmother trees and then to thank it. Oh, I love to thank the big grandmother trees. I love the old growth redwood trees because I know that up in those branches, up high where I can't see, is an entire world happening. There's plants growing up there that we don't see on the ground. There are animals that live up there that we don't see on the ground. There is so much up above that we don't get to see in our daily lives, walking around in our 5 to 6.5 foot area of height, right? There's so much to see. We have to protect those trees. We have to protect it. The earth is always changing. I was reading when I was at the Botanical Gardens on Friday, walking with a friend, and we went to the cemetery there. And I didn't know this, but the people that had that property that is now the Botanical Gardens at the 1906 earthquake lost 40 acres into the ocean. Right? I had no idea they lost 40 acres into the ocean at the 1906 earthquake. That's a lot of land. That's a lot of trees. That's a lot of growth. That's a lot of animals. Gone. Gone. Can you imagine what 40 acres out beyond that area would have looked like? Wow. I follow this group on TikTok called Redwood Rising. Has anybody ever heard of them? Started with me following a ranger named Griff Griffiths. Griff Griffiths is a ranger in the Redwood National Park, and he does these stories on TikTok, and he's very involved in Redwood Rising. So, and you can look up Redwood Rising online. And he teaches people about our forests. He teaches people about our forests. He teaches people about the animals. He teaches people why it's so important to tread lightly on our earth. And as I'm watching this, I'm thinking, he's talking about a resurrection. He's teaching us to help our planet resurrect herself. Yesterday we were burning some brush, and I picked up some stuff to throw in the pile, and there were pine cones in there. And as I was tossing the pine cone in, I thought, this pine cone needs fire in order to create a seed, so it can grow a new tree, a new redwood tree. See, a lot of our trees that grow, they need that heat so they can open up and pop that seed out, so it can be planted and grow another tree. So when there's devastating fires going on, well, I know they're devastating to people, they're actually healthy for our planet in ways. I'm hearing in my head, God didn't make mistakes. There's no mistakes. I have friends and loved ones who lost everything in the Paradise Fires. I have friends and loved ones who lost everything in the LA fires. And yet every one of them is sitting in gratitude because they are alive, because they are supported, and because they can rebuild and they know it, even though there's grief and loss to be dealt with. It's important to take what looks like a hard moment in life and shift a little bit that perspective. Talk about resurrection for a second. I promise, only a second. Easter can symbolize that renewal and the possibility of new beginnings. That's what the resurrection was. It was renewal and a possibility of new beginnings. There are many stories about Jesus dying on the cross. There's many, many stories. There's many metaphysical versions of those stories. There's belief that he was never actually dead, and that Mary was there taking care of him, and that they sent everybody away so he can resurrect his self, his spiritual self, right? So the story reminds us that even in the face of adversity, there's hope for transformation and growth. The theme of resurrection encourages us to embrace the concept of renewal in our own lives. Renewal in our own lives. Just as the planet renews itself with each passing season, we too can experience personal resurrection by letting go of past burdens and embracing new possibilities. Who here has a past burden they'd love to let go of?
The
Van. I love it. She's speaking that out into the room. Yeah, we all have stuff we'd like to let go of. An experience that we didn't appreciate, an experience that we don't want to have in our memories anymore. A person, a place, a thing. We all have one of those. I invite you to drop those on the floor in this room when you leave. Leave them here. We will clean them up for you and recycle them right back into the planet. We are happy to do that. I often tell people that come to talk to me about what's going on in their lives, give it all to me, give it all to me. And I've had people say to me, but I don't want you to carry this. I say, I don't. You know what I have in front of me is a hole. I have a hole in front of me in the ground, and I am allowing you to give me all of what isn't serving you, and it is going right back down into the earth as I'm praying for it, and so the earth can recycle it into something better. Give me your pain. Speak it out loud. Let me take that from you. That's my job. Let me love you through this. See, the process of resurrection involves reflecting on our experiences and learning from them, but using these lessons to foster growth. We're always growing. If we're not growing, what are we?
Dying,
Stagnant. What else would I hear over here?
dying.
Dying, yeah, or dead. We're always growing. And if you don't believe me, look at your fingernails or your hair or your nose or your ears or your feet, because those things never stop growing. They just don't, right? Right? By integrating the principles of resurrection into our daily lives, we cultivate a mindset of continuous improvement and transformation, aligning with the themes of habit stacking on Earth Day. So here's your homework. I want you to participate in Earth Day in some way. It's Tuesday. Make a tiny, tiny change that leads to holistic growth. Celebrate Earth Day with meaningful actions and experience the transformative power of a resurrection in your life. Together, we can build a sustainable and vibrant future, one mindful step at a time. So what is it that we can do today that can change our future? What is it that we can do today that can help change our planet? I bring my bags to the grocery store. I have so many bags in various vehicles. I went to the grocery store the other day and last night I had to run into town. I didn't have a bag with me. My checker said, "Do you want a bag?" And I said, "Nope, I won't carry it." I pulled my sweatshirt out and I stuffed it all in the front of my sweatshirt and I walked out the store like that. And she said, "Are you sure?" I said, "I'm saving the planet." With my sweatshirt that I wear over, and I will wear that sweatshirt out until it's in pieces, and then I will probably still wear it, right? I'm going to do something as simple as that. If I can't carry it out in my arms or in my sweatshirt, in the front of my sweatshirt and my skirt, if I can't carry it out that way and I don't have bags, then I'm not buying it. I can go home and get my bags and go to the grocery store the next day. That's my commitment. If you catch me at the grocery store getting a bag, you're welcome to remind me of that. It takes simple steps. Simple, simple steps. So, as a part of your shifting your consciousness, your thinking, I have a gift for you. Brigitte, would you please pass the basket around and give each person an Easter egg? You didn't know you were getting an Easter egg today, did you? In each Easter egg is our gift to you. There's a saying in there by one of many people. There could be Ernest Holmes, there could be Mary Baker Eddy, there could be Iyanla Vanzant or Michael Beckwith. There's some really awesome affirmative statements that can help shift what's going on in your world. I invite you to reuse your eggs, or you can put them in the basket if you don't want to take them with you, and we will reuse them again in the future. But this is our gift to you. So you can put it in your pocket or your wallet and read it over the next week. All right? Brigitte is so sweet and delicate. If you're online and you would like one of these statements, will you please email us at mcsl@mcn.org, and I will make sure that you get one. Okay? Got it? Okay. What I like about this is that you have now received a gift, and you have now received something for you to take forth. Whether it reminds you of something that was said in today's service, or it sparks something within you in the next week or so, this is your gift that you get to take. And as soon as she is done with that, I'm going to go into prayer. We're almost there. The sun came out. Isn't it great? It's great. Yesterday we were sitting around the fire pit, warming ourselves, chatting, catching up, doing the things that we do, right? And I just enjoying the planet and the earth. One more, and then we'll go into prayer. Thank you, Ms. Brigitte. So you may take these with you. You may trade. If you want a second one, please come on up after service and grab one out of the basket again. If you want to recycle your eggs, we will use them again next year. Brigitte, make sure you take them for yourself. Can I have them? Look at this. Here's mine. Here, let me give you the. And thank you, Reverend Gail, for letting us use your basket. Mine today is Mary Morrissey. Oh, I love Mary Morrissey. She's a retired minister out of Southern California. She says, nature herself does not distinguish between what seed it receives. It grows whatever seed is planted. This is the way life works. Be mindful of the seeds you plant today, as they will become the crop you harvest. Be mindful of the seeds that you plant today in your mind or in the mind of others around you, for they will harvest exactly what you planted. Let's pray. On this beautiful, warm Easter day, I know that there is something spectacularly happening in the world. I know that as many people celebrate Easter and as children are chasing Easter eggs and treats throughout their yards and their forests and their homes, they do so in celebrating the resurrection of themselves. The resurrection of the planet, the resurrection of whatever it is. Maybe it's just simply joy. The joy on the parents and the grandparents and the cousins and the aunts and the uncles and the neighbors and the friends' faces as the children celebrate with such joy and glee, collecting and racing around, collecting all their little gifts this morning. God's in the middle of that. You know that? God's in the middle of that joy and that celebration, and I know that's the truth. I know that that's the same truth that is in and through each and every one of us. That as we celebrate life each morning, when we wake up, we are having another resurrection. And we choose how we're going to reach that goal for that day. We choose, is today a good day or a bad day? We choose each morning as we come into our consciousness again. And we choose how we want to be in the world. We choose health, we choose happiness, we choose abundance, we choose power and love. We choose light and life. We choose happiness, and beauty, and joy. We choose, and Spirit says yes. Spirit says yes. And so as we plant the seeds in our minds, we plant the seeds in our days, we water them and allow them to flourish into beautiful things that can sustain us, that can inspire us, that can protect us. I know that each person here and every person hearing my voice that is looking for a healing is receiving that now. That each person here, each person hearing my voice, each person that is looking for abundance in any of its form is experiencing it now. I know that love is being experienced and joy is being experienced and presence is being experienced. I know that connection with the divine source is being experienced in all of its ways, whether it's with another person or with the planet or with the spirit within. And I am grateful for that. I'm grateful that I get to witness transformation and happening in each and every day. And I get to celebrate that. I celebrate it with singing and dancing and twirling in circles like a child, allowing that joy to just bubble up and overflow. And I do so with gratitude. I do so with gratitude, knowing that those gifts are divinely blessed. And so I anchor this prayer knowing that it is so, it is done. And I invite you all to anchor it by joining me in simply saying, and so it is.